Hey, how's it going? What's up, everybody? This is the Sports Counterpoint Show. I'm GB. I got Brian and Coop with me as always. What's up, guys?
Hello, going on?
Hey, man, welcome back. I'm out here live from the 206 out in Seattle for work. My posse is on Broadway. Please believe. So, getting to it, we'll talk about the tournament a little bit, kind of recap of March Madness, just get some tournament thoughts from the guys. NBA check-in. I think I've been saying it every week for maybe like 4 months or something that we were going to eventually talk about basketball. So we'll get the guys' thoughts on that and then kind of wrap it up and we'll get up out of here. So good to be back. Let's jump to it, man. We had a couple weeks of March Madness. Thanks, B, for hosting that first weekend. Always a great time. Shout out to all the guys, man, that came through. Fantastic times. Played some golf in the mornings. Watched all the games. Had some good food. Got to see friends and family. Man, it was
Hmm.
absolutely awesome. So that said, there was also basketball. So of that basketball, man, I was just kind of getting you guys' thoughts on the tournament, where we sit now, and then we'll transition from that to the Final Four and your thoughts as we make the forward push.
Well, Brian, you hosted, so you go ahead. Start it off. What you think? What you thought about the tournament so
Ah,
far?
every year there's some games that are awesome. Obviously, Duke Siena comes to mind, and it was fun to watch those games. And there were some that were very competitive, and there was a bunch that were really not. I would say that on average, I thought this season was less competitive than I thought it would be. I thought there was more parity going in than there was, but ultimately it was mostly chalk through the first 4 days. Obviously, the most people's brackets got shook up when UConn, which shouldn't have been anyone's dark horse, was able to upset Duke by a point. Ruined my bracket, but ultimately a really interesting game. Um, Duke looked susceptible early, proved out. North Carolina decided not to show up in the second game. It also ultimately cost the man his job. I didn't think that was justified when you lose your best player to a freak accident and still and lose to a team that's basically better than you. What's the expectation? It was Hubert Davis supposed to make sure that a star player didn't get hurt in a freak accident. But anyways, neither here nor there. They're make big moves over there in North Carolina. It was a lot of fun. Not as competitive as I thought it was going to be, but still exciting and interesting in spots.
Yeah,
Definitely cool.
yeah, coaching your alma mater is just very overrated. I'm with you. I don't think the firing was justified, but we both had VCU beating them. A few thoughts in the tournament. I picked High Point to beat Wisconsin in the first game, and they did. The problem is my bracket had Wisconsin, so I made a mistake there. High Point spent more money than any other mid-major on the NIL or whatever, and that's why a lot of Power Four schools didn't want to play them. And they showed how good they were when they beat five-seeded Wisconsin. Like most people, I was rooting for Siena to beat Duke. It didn't happen. Siena, I didn't know their coach wasn't going to play the bench. Had I known that, I would have been
That
turned
was
off
crazy.
and watched another game. I got to give a shout out to Howard. I mean, nobody thought they would beat Michigan, but they competed. They covered the 31-point spread, only lost by 21. They scored 80 points against Michigan. So they battled the entire game. Of course, they ain't got the horses that Michigan got, which we'll talk about later, but happy for them that they competed. Uh, Other than that, I mean, no other surprises. Just hoping Kentucky loses because I don't really like the Kentucky program. Looking at these other scores, these other games, I think, like Brian says, mostly chalk, but with NIL, that's you're pretty much going to have to expect that in college sports now because the other schools just don't have the money to compete with the bigger schools, especially the Big Ten. There's two Big Ten teams in the Final Four, which we'll get to later, which was going to be a norm because NIL, definitely helps them. But other than that, term is mostly chalk. Looking forward to the Final Four. I don't have a chance to win our bracket. Brian could probably go through who has chances to win the bracket, depending on who wins the tournament. I know me and Derek have Arizona, but Derek has more wins than I do. So if Arizona wins, I come in second again in a tournament that I'm sponsoring. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. But other
I
than that,
mean,
Yeah,
it's all my thoughts.
Greg
you
has the
competing.
most chances to win, but not the highest likelihood. Greg, if Illinois or was it Illinois or Connecticut
UConn?
wins,
Okay.
yeah, Greg then wins because nobody scores any more points. If Michigan wins, Drew does because he's the only person who picked Michigan, If Arizona does, Derek beats you out. So we will have a new champion. I will not be the champion. I'll likely end up in second. I'll either end up in second place or fifth place. Those are the two options. But anyways, it'll still be interesting to see how it goes down the stretch, and it's been fun watching because there's been a lot of jostling in the standings.
Definitely, definitely. So as we look from where the tournament was to where the tournament is now, you got the Final Four standing, man. Illinois and UConn and Michigan, Arizona. What do you guys how do you guys feel about these matchups? What do you think? I mean, that Final Four will get played this week, so we'll connect up, pretty much after
Yeah.
everything. So kind of what are you guys thinking?
Hey, didn't UConn win the last two championships? Who won last year?
The last two?
Yeah.
No.
I thought, Florida won last year. Then UConn won before that. That's right. Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who you got in the game, Illinois, UConn, but I got Illinois. I just think they're on a tear right now. They're underrated. I think underrated in most people's mind. Like, they didn't expect them to get this far. Actually, I didn't expect UConn to get this far either. But I had St. John's beating Duke, and they got past that, and UConn finally beat them. But I got Illinois beating UConn. What about you, Brian?
I got UConn. I think that it was tough to beat Duke. I also think that they're an underrated, underappreciated team that's playing strong at the right time. And, quite honestly, they beat the best all-around team, not the hottest team, but they beat the best all-around team in Duke. And there's respect that you have to have for doing that. So I'm going to take UConn to beat Illinois.
All right, on the other side, who you got? Michigan, Arizona.
Yeah. Yep. Michigan, Arizona.
Who you got?
Yeah. Well, I picked Michigan to get there ahead of time, so I'm going to stick with Michigan. But Arizona's playing really good ball.
Yeah, Arizona's my champion, so I'm going to go with them. Michigan is playing good late. They were a team that you did not want to bet on during the season. I think they were under 500 against the spread. If they actually won a championship, they'll be the second team in the last 30 years to have a negative against the spread record and win an NCAA title. But I got Arizona beating them mainly because they're my champion. I think they can. I know it's a 1.5 point spread, but I think they could beat Michigan by about 4 or 5.
Okay. So, and then that's your champ. Who'd you have for your champion is Arizona too?
No, I mean,
Based
I had
on
Duke.
based on what you just said now. Right. So based on
yeah.
now, you said if you got UConn and Arizona.
I'm going to take Michigan, but I would not be surprised if UConn pulled the upset. I'm going to take Michigan to win it.
Okay, UConn, Michigan for your final matchup with UConn winning it. And then what about you, Coop?
I got
With
Arizona
Michigan winning it.
Yeah, and I got Arizona, Illinois,
Michigan.
Arizona winning it, and I don't know what the total will be on that game, but I would definitely take the over in the Arizona Illinois game. It'd be a lot of points scored.
Got you. Nice. Okay. Well, a little tournament recap. It was definitely a great time. Shout out to everybody who enjoys it, who watches it, everybody who's reached out to me and said, what are my thoughts on it? And I do not have any thoughts past that first weekend. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't watched near not a game. I saw the UConn shot because of Instagram. I just, I kind of got back to my regular life. So thanks, B, for that first weekend, man. Every year, I at least say I saw part of March Madness because I ain't seen near nada. But I'm sure I watched the championship. Somehow, you always watch the championship, but.
Yeah. I do believe though that in the Final Fours is going to be at least a couple Big Ten teams. Most years, especially with NIL. I just think they just got the money to buy people, so I think this is going to be the norm. But we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. So, been interesting. So cool, man. So then let's slide to a little quick NBA check in as well. Coop, you had a question that was kind of on your mind. Throw that out there.
Yeah, I'm just random thought. I just wanted to know because there are a lot of good centers that played in the game, mostly in the past, not really now because not really big man oriented now. But I just want to know you guys' just top 5 centers ever in your mind in the NBA and NBA history. Who are your top 5 centers? And Brian, let's start with you.
All right. Yeah. Kareem is number 1. Bill Russell is number 2. Shaquille is number 3. Wilt Chamberlain is number 4. And Hakeem Olajuwon is number 5.
Yeah,
GB?
you can mix up the list, but that's exactly. I'm pulling up, like looking at all the centers, and then those are the players that I watched most. So actually, Shaq, and then I saw them play, and then the other guys, like it's obvious you got to do that. So I got the same list, man, in whatever order.
in whatever order.
Yeah,
It's all good. Okay. Well, I got Kareem number one. I mean, played against a bunch of Hall of Famers, been killing it, forever. High school, junior high, whatever, college. So I got
definitely.
Kareem number one. Number two, I got Wilt Chamberlain, man. They made rules in the NBA to prevent him from scoring, and he was still scoring points. So, they found out he can dunk from the free throw line. They outlawed that, and that man played the entire minute and every minute of an entire season. I don't give a damn how big you are, how many points you
That's
score. That's
crazy.
that's just hard as hell to do. Average 50
Yeah,
points
that's
a game at
crazy.
any level. So, Wilt's number two. In my mind, Hakeem Olajuwon is number three. He was giving Shaq the business in his prime. When he left the game, when he retired, he was an all-time shot blocking leader. He could shoot free throws. I mean, Kobe learned footwork from him. If you watch some of Kobe's
Other
footwork in
players.
the post and look at Hakeem Olajuwon, it's exactly the same when he went down there. He tried to help Dwight Howard, but nobody can help Dwight Howard.
Oh,
But
damn. Here you
but
go.
Hakeem Olajuwon, man, was just a baller, man. He played during that time where it was just so many great players. His team was never the best, but he did break through when Jordan retired to win a couple championships. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion if Jordan would have played, they would have actually beat him because that was the only player Michael Jordan was afraid of. He used to call him the Big African. So he's number three. Number four, I got Shaquille O'Neal. Just a dominant player. Kobe once said if he took the game seriously, he could have been the best player ever, and I actually
Oh, yeah.
believe that. Shaq was just so
Yep.
dominant. With that 3 year stretch with the Lakers when they won three straight titles, man, he was just there was nothing you can do about it. You just had to live with his 30 and 15 and just go home and try to stop everybody else. And then number five, I got Bill Russell. As far as the man, the person. I mean, nothing better, man. He's just I could just imagine how I was as a black man in Boston during that time, trying to play basketball and coach, and then not even being
Yep.
accepted in your own, neighborhood or own hometown or whatever. So I can just imagine what he went through, playing in the '60s or whatever. But he was 6'9", 218 pounds, and was very limited offensively. So that's why I have him at number five. I don't even want to see him play against Shaq. I mean, I just don't think that will be good. But as far as winning 11 championships in 13 seasons, that has to be respected. And he was a player coach as well, and just who he was as a person, man. So he's definitely in my top five. I just have him at number five.
Yeah, Bill Russell from the Bay too. Shout out my
Yep.
pops and
Yep.
his parents. I think were friends with my grandparents, my great grandparents on pop's side.
Hmm.
Interesting
Yep.
fact there. And the Shaq thing, man, is always funny to me. When you go back and watch those old clips, dude was hella agile and quick, but
Yes.
way big.
Hmm.
So, like to Kobe's point, if he'd have been taking it serious and really been training and had his fitness right, oh man, he could have averaged
Yeah.
60 points a game. Like,
Yeah, I had to put the other three ahead of Shaq because
yeah,
those guys came in the league polished and ready and was balling. Whereas Shaq, he wasn't Shaq in Orlando. He was Shaq when he got with Phil Jackson in LA. He was just dunking in Orlando. That whole pivot
that's fair.
game and
Yeah.
recognizing double teams and all that stuff, that didn't happen until he was with the Lakers when he got smarter with the game. Whereas the other guys had that when they first came in the league, and that's why I got Shaq at number four because it kind of took him a little bit of time, but once he got it, he got it.
Is Wemby considered a center? Just because height and or like what is Wemby considered?
Yeah, he
He
plays
is?
center.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
plays center.
Yeah, his all around game's crazy. The stuff I watch, dude, is pretty insane. I think he had like 41 yesterday.
Oh, Skinny Man?
So
Yeah. Skinny Man
yeah,
be balling.
it's pretty crazy. Cool. So give me your thoughts right now, man. We're way more than halfway through the NBA season. I'm actually like I
Only
look
a
up.
week and a half left. Or is it
Yep.
I'm
week
about to
and
say
a half left?
I look up.
Yep.
The Lakers are balling on the low, winning hella games. Looks like it's Luka's team. LeBron is still hooping at 40 something. Lakers kind of winning. Like, all right. Actually, like I was telling y'all jokingly, I watched that Detroit OKC game last night. Damn good game. Went into overtime. Shea had 47. So I was like, damn, yeah, it was crazy. So watched the little ball. I'm trying to let me get back and start watching again because I think it's just me that changed. I don't know that. I mean, I could say the game changed, and yeah, I have the guys that I was younger than and more players I guess I cared about, but it's fairly good basketball. So I think it's me that changed, and I gotta give it that. But what are you guys' thoughts currently on where the league is at as far as the season, how the Lakers are doing? Any thoughts you got to come to mind?
Hey, Pete, start with the Western Conference. Start there. Any thoughts?
I mean, pretty surprised to see the Lakers in third. Not only are they in third, but they've kind of locked up that position. There's no surprise in OKC and San Antonio kind of hammering it out. I don't think anybody's even remotely shocked to see those two teams up there. And there's a sizable difference, right? I think the Lakers are at 49 wins. Have they won tonight? 49, 50
Mhm.
wins, depending on what time
49.
we're watching.
Oh, yeah, 50. Yeah,
And
you're right. You're right.
San Antonio and OKC are 57 and 60, right? They're just in a whole different echelon. But the Lakers getting there is impressive. Denver continuing to do what they do. They're always a big threat, and when it comes to playoff time, that's interesting. I'm a little disappointed in Minnesota. I just feel like everyone kind of expects Ant to just kind of step to that next plane and just take it over, and he hasn't yet. He's exceptionally good. He's by far one of the most talented players, but he hasn't quite moved to that back of the left echelon. Other teams, the Clippers were left for dead at the beginning of the season. I hate the Clippers. I hate them a lot, but they were left for dead this season, and they are now in the playoffs. I think that's somewhat miraculous. And then the Phoenix Suns were the worst team in the NBA, was it 2 seasons ago? And here they are in the playoffs. Those are the quick hit thoughts. I mean, I feel bad for Golden State. I'm not even sure they should. They want to make the playoffs. If I'm them, I would have been actually trying to not make the playoffs. They are now locked in, so they definitely don't get a lottery pick. But they're definitely in the play-in, and But that's it on my thoughts on the West.
Yeah, Wes, I mean, as a person who watches these spreads and these games, a lot of teams tanking in the West. Memphis, New Orleans, Dallas, Sacramento, Utah, they just got fined $500,000 by the NBA for resting their starters in the fourth quarters of games, whether they're leading or not. They've been doing it pretty much all season. So a lot of teams tanking in the West, so that kind of helps teams like San Antonio, like Houston, like the Lakers, like Phoenix, because they're actually playing to actually win. These other teams in the West aren't. I would say the most impressive team to me in the West this year has been San Antonio. They have just been, they just don't care. I think they're just too young to know what they're doing. They're just going out there and just playing basketball, man. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually end up in the finals with the momentum and the run that they're on. Any team with KD on it, I will never take to win the championship. So Houston is out. But other than that, well, and like Brian said with Minnesota, it's a good point. Everybody was trying to say the same thing to me about Devin Booker the year Phoenix went to the NBA Finals. Like he's supposed to be this and be that. It didn't happen after that. He had that 1 year with Chris Paul, I think, was on that team or something like that, or somebody was on that team, and they went to the finals,
Yeah,
lost to
CP had
Milwaukee.
yep.
And then everybody tried to convince me because LeBron said he was good, that he was all that, and really ain't heard of him. Same with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards definitely has a talent, is a better player than Devin Booker, but like everybody's waiting for that next step, and it just doesn't seem to happen. In Denver, they're just a veteran team. They're going to be around as long as Jokic and Jamal Murray are pretty much healthy. I'm surprised that Portland, just look at their record right now. It looks like they're going to be in the playoffs as well, and they don't play any defense. So I'm actually surprised there. And like Brian said, the Clippers, they won 5 straight, so they were pretty much left for dead. And then they traded James Harden and started winning. I don't think that was by coincidence, but yeah, those are my thoughts on the West.
What about the Eastern Conference?
Shots fired.
Eastern Conference B, go ahead and start it off. What you think about the East?
I mean, I'm always surprised now these days to see the Detroit Pistons on top. They've come a long way. I mean, they were the worst team in the NBA, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and then started doing well in the draft, putting things together, making some signing some free agents, and here they are. That's an impressive thing for them to be up at the top there. The other team, Boston, has had a weird season because Tatum didn't play for most of it. But there they are in second place. And the Knicks are also kind of in the fight. Other than that, there's really not that much that's interesting. None of the playoff teams interest me. Charlotte, Miami, Orlando, Philadelphia 76ers. I think all of those teams are just not good. I mean, they're not horrible. They're not Milwaukee, Chicago, Brooklyn, so on, right? I mean, 17 wins from a professional team is disgraceful. But
Washington?
That's Washington and Indiana. They
I was
got
about to say, because
and
Washington, where Bam had his 83, people don't understand they give up 140 a game. But yeah, Washington's
yeah,
terrible. They're trying to lose. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
they're trying to lose.
they're horrible.
Yeah. They're trying to
But
lose. But
these teams that are in the 7 through 10, they're not interesting in any way, shape, or form.
yeah.
Like I honestly, I think you could eliminate 7 teams from the Eastern Conference playoffs, and nobody would be like, "Oh yeah, they really had a chance if they got in." Like
Yeah.
from Cleveland to the Hornets, none of those teams have a chance of winning. And the Knicks are a coin flip. The Celtics and Pistons have a real opportunity to win it. But is there anybody who's looking at this and saying, OKC, San Antonio, and maybe a dark horse like Denver are going to be? That's the real championship here. So,
Yeah.
anyways, what I would say about the East is this is not very interesting.
What I'm gonna say about these is if you're a gambler, take the over in Washington games because all they do is give up 135 a game. But starting the Southeastern Conference, it lets you know how bad that division is. Atlanta is in the top spot. So I mean that's nobody thinks anybody in that division has a chance to win a championship. In the Central Conference, Detroit. Yeah, that looks like they're the number one seed in the East, but they're not gonna make it past the second round. I don't think that would be a surprise to anybody. Chicago and Indiana. Chicago's a team full of guards. They're tanking. Indiana, they don't have Halliburton, so of course they don't want to win any games. But the Atlantic Division is the one that's the most interesting to me because Boston with Tatum, I don't think you can count them out. I don't think they might win a championship, and I don't think you can count them out in the playoffs. New York, their best player is 5'8" and Jalen Brunson, so that can only take you so far. Toronto, not really worried about. Philly, I'm not worried about. Brooklyn is a bad team, but they're actually trying to win. They're covering spreads. They might get 13, 16 points, but they're only losing by like 8 or 9 points. So even though they're losing, at least they're trying. But the East, I think, is wide open. So I think that playoffs will be interesting.
Definitely. That's your so kind of hoop check in. I don't we'll have to, we take a look at more NFL news as we go forward because we're getting towards the draft, etc. But
Yeah.
I think we'll make this a quick one. Got a little bit of basketball check in with March Madness and the NBA, and I think we can wrap it up.
Cool.
And we'll get up out of here and make it a short one. So, starting with our last few segments, what is hogwash? One show we're in, you said if something was a bunch of hogwash, we all laughed. It's been a weekly segment since. What do you got right now that's hogwash?
So many things. I'm gonna just. This is not. I'm not overly sensitive to this, but baseball is actually interesting right now, and it's interesting because the Dodgers are so dominant, and everyone is chasing them. And the last time it was this interesting is when the Yankees were so dominant, and everyone was chasing them. And so you need a villain, and people are like, "Oh, the sport's being ruined," and blah blah blah. And now they're about to go on this. They're talking about having a strike. It's a bunch of hogwash for anyone who wants to sit there and pretend like the dynamic of having a villain in sports isn't important. It's been Boston. It's been the Lakers. It's been the Patriots. It's been the 49ers. It's been Dallas. It's always a team that is the villain. And right now, that's the Dodgers. So let's not pretend like we don't love it. Like we absolutely love it. And so let's not try and blame the Dodgers for the collective bargaining woes because other teams feel like they can't be competitive. That's what they're saying out in the front. But no one ever goes to Milwaukee and says, you're not competitive because you don't spend any money. You literally spend as little as humanly possible so that you get money with revenue sharing from the other teams. We want to blame the Dodgers, but we won't want to call out the Milwaukee Brewers and some of these other teams that totally abuse the system on the other side. And then sit there when people come and talk to them, pointing the finger at the Dodgers. Sports need a villain. That villain's the Dodgers right now. They play the role well and they win. And they also have a lot of really likable guys on the team. I mean, if you actually, if you can get past the fact that they have a Dodgers jersey on, which is easy for me because I'm a Dodger fan, but for other people like Freddie Freeman. People like the whole team, right? Shohei
Mookie,
and
Mookie.
Shohei, yep.
These are all good citizens that sports citizens who are also on the most dynamic team maybe in history. anyways, that's my thoughts on the
Yeah,
hogwash.
yeah, you're speaking to a person who's a fan of the A's, and all he does is take advantage of revenue sharing. He ain't putting
100%.
they put no money in the team, and they make no bones about it that they're not doing
Yep.
it. Yeah. Kansas City
Yep.
Royals owned by the Waltons too, the Walmart family. They're the same way. They don't put any money in that team, want their revenue sharing. So good point on that. Mine is going to be all these people in the NCAA think as they said, well, NIL's out of control in the transfer portal, which I agree. Players are transferring every year. I got why it was implemented though, because coaches were leaving for jobs, but they're not leaving for jobs every single year, and players are. But they think that these players are going to collectively bargain. And if I'm a player, why would you? Players are doing anything that they want right now. They're getting all the money they want, and they can transfer whenever they want. Why in the hell would they collectively bargain? For what? To limit their power to do the things that they're doing now? That's absolutely stupid. Players aren't collectively bargaining. They're getting everything they want right now in the Wild West. And if I was a college player, I wouldn't even think about collectively bargaining or restricting my rules on what I can do as a player. As of right now, I can do anything that I want. People are mad at these players are backing out of NIL deals and getting paid and transferring schools. Hey, it's what it is. So I just think the NCAA, which is powerless, they pretty much have little to no power. And also hogwash is I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, these um it was Chris Webber. They found out Chris Webber got money for college and all these other people, and they vacated wins and vacated championships. No, I think
Yeah.
that's the stupidest thing in the world. We all saw
100%.
the games. We know who won, we know who lost. I mean, so I
Yep.
just think vacating wins is just one of the dumbest things in the world. So it's the NCAA is my hogwash.
Yeah, you can damn near do that every week. Yeah, it's more
Right.
performative than anything else. So I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm gonna go hogwash straight into game ball, and then Cooper, we're gonna get yours. Because I saw that yesterday with Tiger Woods, and that was my hogwash was Tiger Woods driving record, right? No license.
Yeah.
But I was telling B when we telling Brian before we started is like it's tough because clearly brother's dealing with some other stuff, some addiction or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I'm go from that to like, man, don't drive for anybody out there. Don't drive. There's too many options for cars. Definitely don't drive under the influence of anything. But switching that to the game ball for like him, and then knows that if you have an issue, you're dealing with addiction, whatever it is, get it treated. Take the time to to sit, reflect, and get yourself right. So that's kind of where that goes. Game ball for figuring that out. Hopefully for Tiger, we'll see what happens. I think he's the reason why a lot of people even know anything of golf at all.
Yeah, I
So
know
he's
that now.
definitely
Yeah.
he's so important to the game and to so many of us that love the game and to just watched his dominance that you want to see him do all right. A whole lot of us were excited that he may play in the Masters.
Hmm.
Didn't, we weren't necessarily having super high expectations because that tournament's really grueling and long and it's a lot to do, but just to see, the dream of seeing Tiger get back to form once is still out there for so many of us. So game ball for getting it handled, and then for anybody else dealing with addiction, definitely thoughts and prayers with you, to get things right. But I'm gonna do mine that way. So kind of a transition into both, and then Coop, what you got for your game ball?
Yeah, I don't even have a game ball. I'll shoot at the Brian.
Okay, mine goes to the WNBA. We haven't talked about them in a while, but since we last talked about them, they had a new collective bargaining agreement that actually makes sense.
Hmm.
There was a lot of ass on the player side that just made no sense. Like, hey, we should be able to get the same kind of contracts that the men have. Like, well, you're not producing the same kind of revenue. But the way that they did it, which is the right way, which is revenue sharing, they got meaningful revenue sharing. They're sharing the players get 20% of the league revenue, which is not what they wanted, but still pretty darn good. There's this new salary system that kind of makes sense and pays most of the players a livable salary because quite honestly, there were professional, very all-star professional WNBA players who didn't make enough to have a reasonable lifestyle, not even a comfortable lifestyle, reasonable lifestyle in the places that they were playing. They now get chartered flights for travel. There's some other things that are going in there. They get healthcare benefits after a certain period of time, and things like that. So congratulations to both the women in the league and those who run it, because they came to a conclusion that actually makes sense. I wish that we could get to these points without the mess that ensued and the the name calling and the finger pointing and the gestures and let's all sit down and when we have to have these conversations and then move forward. But I'm glad it ended in a good place.
And you know what, GB, I do got one. Just found out about
Do it.
that. It's KJ Wright. He used to play for the Seattle Seahawks. I think he was on part of that Legion of Boom team and won the Super Bowl. He's now he's been with the 49ers past 3 years. Past couple of years he was the defensive quality control coach. He just got promoted to a linebacker coach. When Robert Saleh left to go to the Tennessee Titans, of course he wanted to take some 49er assistants with him. I think he took a couple, but there was one he wanted, which was KJ Wright, and Kyle Shanahan said he was off limits. They said this guy could be the next DeMeco Ryan. He's a linebacker coach now, and they said he's on the fast track to be a defensive coordinator somewhere. So, good for him that, people are seeing what he can do as a coach. And, if we lose another defense coordinator, so be it. But he looks like he would be the next defense coordinator in line, if that opportunity comes with the 49ers. So, good for him working through the ranks and doing his thing.
Nice. B?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this in real quick. The other one that I wanted to talk about, and we'll never have an opportunity to talk about it again, most likely, Jeremy Lin. Everyone's talking about his breakdown on NBA Today. I actually watched it. It was masterful. That dude really is brilliant. He was doing a breakdown of Luka Doncic and why and how his skill works and why it looks like he's moving in slow motion, but it's actually effective. Talking about his footwork, and everyone was talking about. People from different channels and we're talking about his breakdown of how that game works. He deserves a job after doing such an amazing job. I give him at least give him my game ball, but it was really, really impressive to have an analyst who actually seemed to be an analyst and not just a talking head.
Right.
So, worth recognition.
Right. Real talk. That's why I don't watch ESPN. Real talk. Somebody actually breaking down something and giving you something you can take away.
I'm about to say, I mean, I don't think I've ever gave nothing nobody can take away or break down, but I appreciate y'all watching anyway. And then last segment, Minute to Win It. I just been thinking about this, man. It's just more, kind of you shape your world with your thoughts, but just kind of the concept that things happen for you and not to you. Everything that happens ends up being for your benefit if you see it that way. So, if you understand every experience is a gift, you end up always opening presents. So just, keep that in mind as you're moving that, it's not what's happening to you, it's how we react to it in a lot of ways. So that's mine. Coop, what you got?
It's a good one, man. I don't have a good one. I'm gonna punt this to Brian.
B, wrap us up, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, keep your eyes open, man. There's so many stories going on right now around the world, war in Iran, just the people, Army crews flying up and saluting Kid Rock, getting suspended, then having the Department of War head Hegseth saying, that's okay for a patriot. Let's waste our taxpayer dollars to go salute that person.
Thanks.
Trying to get you not to have to put the checkbox in there.
There you go.
Thanks.
But and then North Korean hackers have been very successful. Things are pretty bleak right now. People looking at gas prices that are in some places as high as $7 a gallon. And the only way that we all make it through this, because we'll make it through, but the only way that we all make it through, but mentally intact, is to keep your eyes open, recognize that the story that you're looking at is probably the story they want you looking at, and find the rest of them. No details need to be given. Just be aware.
Definitely. Appreciate y'all for checking us out. It's March 31st, 2026. This is Sports Counterpoints, and we will check you all out next time.
Yes.